So, welcome to Cyberman Side Chats with Jason and Dan, and a Cyberman head,
George.
This is Volume 1. Obviously, Jason, I'm Dan Garcia. You might know me from previous videos where I had a lot more hair. We're here to talk about tariffs, unfortunately, because that's all we ever talk about it these days. So, first question, let's get right to the point here. What do we know about the tariffs?
Okay, so model trains are produced in China. Most of the model train industry is based in China. And going back in time, that was because of one man named W.S. Ting, a factory called Sandakan, and he's the one who developed this whole idea of super detailed model trains. Yeah. So all of the people who worked under him, they went and started their own factories, and so most of the super detailed model trains that you get anywhere in the world are made in southern China. Yeah. And that's why they're not made in Canada, not made in the United States. Right. There's a lot of labor involved, and with the cost of living being much lower over there, that's where they're made.
There's also the fact that there's very specific skill sets that they've chosen to focus on.
Yes, so you've got the expertise, and you've got, within a very small radius, the guys making the circuit boards, the guys making the injection molding, the guys making the stamp metal parts, and the painting masks, and the printing plates, and all that stuff. So it is a whole microsphere, if you will, microcosm of industry for model trains. And so first there were 10% tariffs on model trains coming to the U.S. And now, as the time of us recording this, there's 20% tariff. Yeah. And who knows if that's going to go up or down. The way that tariff works is it's a tax added by the government when the goods enter the country. So when we bring the models in from China to our new warehouse in Buffalo, which we'll talk about in a bit, we have to pay now 20% additional on our cost. And there's also extra fees like brokerage fees and things like that we end up paying. That's what they are.
So obviously now that we know what a tariff is, and other than obviously costs, what other challenges are there for a company like Rapido with dealing with them? Yeah,
the cost challenge is a big one, because when we price out our models, we base it on all of our costs from the factory, but we also have overhead. So apart from this lovely office and Cyberhead, we've got all of our employees, about 30 odd employees throughout North America that we have to pay their salaries and everything.
The cost of the warehousing, cost of
marketing, and everything. There's all these different costs. Yep. And there's also the fact that we sell 90% of our sales are through stores. So we sell to stores and they get a certain discount, and we sell through distributors and they get even additional discount. So though a model may retail for say $350, we don't see anywhere near that $350 for the vast majority of our orders. So we're able to, we don't have to charge the full 10% tariff or 20% tariff. We've actually done the calculation that for every 10% of tariff, we have to charge 4.8% to our customers. So if there's right now, as the time of recording, there's a 20% tariff, so we'd have to add a 9.6% tariff fee.
And if it goes back down to 10%, it would therefore be only 4.8.
Yeah, and it's based on what we pay. So to give you an example, we've got the Metra F40s and the F30 flat cars and the PFE reefers. We shipped those down to Buffalo when the tariff was only 10%. Right. So when we ship those out to customers, when the warehouse is set up in April, that'll just be a 4.6%.
4.8.
4.8%, thank you. The next batch of models, which is going to be the Comet cars and the Amtrak cabbages and the G22 Gons and the H21 hoppers, those are going to be shipped down at 20%. So we're going to have to add the 9.6% cost of that. And if it goes, it all depends on what we pay. If the tariffs are canceled immediately, we still have to charge the 4.8% on those ones because we've already paid it.
The ones that are in Buffalo.
The ones in Buffalo, we've already paid that tariff. We got a big hefty bill last Friday from our customs broker.
Yes, indeed. So you talked about our warehouse in Buffalo, our new warehouse in Buffalo.
And office and warehouse in Buffalo. Woo!
Why Buffalo?
Well, the great thing is Buffalo is an hour and 40-minute drive on a good day from my front door to our office and warehouse. So that's a really good
on
thing.
A bad day, it's more like 2 hours?
2 hours. But I've got Nexus, so I go right through the border really quickly. But truthfully, the reason that we did this was we realized when the 10% tariff was first put in place, the tariff is charged on the invoice entering the United States. So we were going to have to add a full 10%. And we thought that our customers can't really afford that. It's not, and we've actually moved the business to Buffalo to save our customers money. And we're not being totally altruistic. Obviously, we want your business, so we don't want to be more expensive than everybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't want to be the outliers having to charge the full 10%. So by moving the business to Buffalo, and actually we are buying the building, which means that it's not a short-term thing. Our plan is to have the business in Buffalo forever. And by doing that, we import directly from China to Buffalo so that our tariff costs are 10% on cost and not 10% on what we're selling to the stores or direct customers.
Right. Which would obviously be a far higher value.
Right, exactly. And we've actually had a U.S. company for a long time, a couple of years now, because we started a U.S. company because we have 7 U.S. employees. And they finally said to me, we want to be on payroll instead of sending you a bill every month. So we put them on payroll over a year ago. And I got to say, thank God, because by already having a U.S. company, it made it much easier to move the operation to the U.S. So the only difference really is going to be that our American sales are going to come out of the U.S. company and our Canadian sales are going to come out of the Canadian company. But apart from that, nothing really changes.
Okay. So you talk about Buffalo. What's going to happen with Canada?
Well, we're going to be... So if a shipment has mostly Canadian stuff or a big portion, we're going to send 2 shipments from China, one to Canada, one to the U.S. If the shipment is mostly American, we're going to ship it all to the U.S. And the issue for us in Canada is not as much the tariff, it's the rapidly sinking Canadian dollar. So we may have to make some price adjustments on Canada, but it won't be tariff based. It's going to be currency exchange based, because obviously we pay all our bills in US dollars, and as the Canadian dollar has lost a tremendous amount of its value over the last few months, we've done it before in the past when the Canadian dollars, we have to add a little bit of a surcharge, a temporary surcharge, until the Canadian dollar gets back. We will make those decisions when we get there. But yeah, we'll have regular shipments between our U.S. and Canadian warehouse. So we'll be able to, if you've got a store in Canada that wants to order a whole bunch of American engines that are in stock in the U.S., we'll have shipments probably every week. Also, warranty is going to be easy. You'll be shipping your warranty returns to the U.S. address if you're in the States. Canadian address will still send to Canada. So that's going to reduce costs for American customers that have to send something back. It's going to really reduce the cost. And then we'll batch ship them back to the U.S. warehouse. We'll ship them out to our customers there.
So just to be clear then, we're going to have a Canadian warehouse and an American
warehouse.
We're
not closing this warehouse.
And an office too, I assume.
Yeah. We're not closing anything. And the now that we have a lot of space in Cargo Bay too, I want to park my 1961 London taxi back in the warehouse. I want to get it covered this time. It got covered in dust last time. I want to put like a proper.
Can we have a discussion about that?
Oh no, there's room. There's definitely room. I'll park my taxi.
I think Janet might object.
Well, you know what? Then we'll lock Janet out of the warehouse. I can park my company. I'll park my taxi in the warehouse. This is so cool. Oh, the seats go up.
Cool.
Yeah, this is like a Fairway from the 90s. My taxi is a 1961, the original Austin, but it's still really neat. Great model, eh?
Yeah. Can we get back to this?
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. So, in light of all that, what do you see for the future?
Well, I see a lot of cool stuff actually, because over the course of COVID and after COVID, we grew. We've got more designers than we have before, so we're designing more projects. Over the last few years, more and more of our model designs have shifted towards the U.S. Right now, over 70% of our sales are American.
Yep.
And I see that increasing. I see us going, as we grow, most of that growth is in the U.S. So I see us going to 80% or more, maybe 90% U.S. sales. So in order to achieve that, we have to bring out more U.S. models.
Right.
Seeing as most of our project designers are American living in the States, they have access to all sorts of cool stuff. So I see more transit-related projects in future.
Be still my beating heart.
And I see a lot more modern stuff. We've got still transition era stuff we're working on, older locomotives. The whole GP40, like 1970s, 80s is all happening. GP39.
And the 39, the 38s.
All that stuff.
All those.
Yeah. But I see some more modern stuff, modern freight.
Okay.
And I know it's a bit of a crowded market, but I think there's room for another company in there, a Rapido, to do some more modern freight. Our Greenbrier Crowd Trans Reefer is proving to be one of our most popular freight cars ever.
So Cold Car did pretty decent too.
That was our most popular. Our Auto Fuzz was our most popular freight car ever. That was by far. And but like some of there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of still low hanging fruit. And let's face it, guys, there's a lot of models out there that were last tooled in the '90s that we're still having our layouts.
Well, and there's even new models coming out today too, right? That are just being
new real models.
New real models.
Sorry. That's our new coil car.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So but that's doing very well. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that if you look on your layout and you look at all your grain hoppers, count how many of them have really fat stirrup steps in plastic and really fat ladders, and it's all like and the walkways are again fat plastic, and you think is it okay that we're still running old junky balls like that in 2025 And so I think
hopefully not with plastic wheels.
Right. I think there's a lot of room there for us to grow in the U.S. So I'm looking forward to that over the next few years.
Okay. I guess one last question then.
Yeah.
What's the best way for people to keep up to date on Rapido stuff?
Oh, definitely it's our newsletters. Nat's behind the camera and she's in charge of our marketing department.
Hi, Nat.
And hi, Nat. Yeah, so she and Bobby get these newsletters out a couple times a month.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby does the bulk of the work on newsletters, but Nat's in charge. Definitely it's worth it. And I think that some newsletters look really polished. Ours are usually finished about half an hour before they're sent. And sometimes we will add entire products the day before because I forgot to tell you about them. And anybody's like, oh, no, we have to announce that today.
Yeah, that's
So you're really getting like up to the minute news from our newsletters. Bobby is not happy about how last minute some of our stuff is, but it really is. I mean, we're a big company now, but we're not run like a big company.
No, we're not.
Hey, let's make this. And next thing we know, like we've shifted entirely to the left somewhere. We've made something.
Well, don't forget, there's also the question: why do we need this? Jason needs this for his layout.
Yes. We have not yet made HO scale London taxis. I would like to see an HO scale. Yeah, because I don't model 00. I want HO scale London. There's lots of 00 London taxis. I want HO scale London taxis. We should do that.
Is that going to go with your HO scale double-decker bus?
There needs to be a really good quality HO scale double-decker bus, but yeah, it's for another time.
So with all that said, any last words?
Yes, I have a very important last word. To everyone watching, to all of you at home, please continue to pre-order. Okay, I know that the tariffs have freaked people out a little bit and you're a little nervous about pre-ordering because you're not sure how much is the tariff going to be when the goods come in. Worst case scenario, if the tariffs are crazy high, you can always cancel your order at the time and, we'll sit on the products till the tariffs are down again. But please pre-order because unless you pre-order, we don't make it.
Well, we don't know what to make, really.
Yeah, so we won't make a ton of inventory hoping that orders will come in.
Yeah.
So we get orders for 1,000, we make 1,100, and that's it. And so if you don't pre-order because you're worried about the prices, then chances are by the time it arrives, it'll all be sold out. If the tariffs are not crazy, but they're still where we expect them to be.
Yeah.
So definitely, please continue to pre-order even in these uncertain times because not just Rapido, all the other manufacturers, we need your pre-orders so that we know what we're making. That's awesome. It, really?
Yeah.
I guess that's it from you and me and from George.
George, we'll see you later.
Excellent.